Hello everyone, welcome to Erudite Political. My name is Udbasra Sheikh and in this video lecture we will be discussing about types of communication. So communication is the fourth unit of NTA NET JRF paper first syllabus और इसके जो दो important topic हैं that is about the meaning, types and characteristics of communication and the second topic that is barriers to effective communication. So these both topics has already been covered by us in our previous videos. उनका link मैं description box में दे दूंगी. So you can also check those videos out. And now in this video lecture we will be discussing the various types of effective communication. So communication का जो types है ना वो दो types में divided है. Firstly that is on the basis of the communication channel and then the second one is on the types of how much people are involved in that process of communication. So when we talk about on the basis of the channel that is used in a communication process, so उसके basis पे communication दो type में broadly divided है. That is verbal communication and non-verbal communication. So firstly let's discuss about verbal communication. So verbal communication is a type of communication in which words are being used in the communication process and also to design and formulate the messages. और verbal communication का जो एक criteria होता है that is stood by the acronym KISS, that is keep it short and simple. So further, verbal communication takes place when one is engaged in speaking with others, right? Now further, verbal communication is divided into two following types. These are oral communication and written communication. So when we talk about oral communication, so oral communication में spoken words का use होता है and it is influenced by pitch, volume, rate of speaking and clarity in speaking and articulation. Further, verbal communication includes conversation that took place face to face with another person and speech, telephonic conversation, video, radio, television and voiceover on the internet. These all are the example of verbal oral communication. Now the second type of verbal communication is written communication. So written communication में जो message होता है उसे हम transfer करते हैं by writing, that is by written signs using symbols both in the printed as well as in the handwritten form are used. Now also in this written communication जो message होता है that can be transmitted via mail, letter, report, memo, etc. और रिटन कम्युनिकेशन के टाइप में जो कम्युनिकेटर होता है ना उसकी राइटिंग स्किल्स, उसके स्टाइल, उसकी नॉलेज ऑफ ग्रामर बहुत अफेक्ट करती है जो भी क्वालिटी ऑफ मैसेज होता है. फर्दर रिटन कम्युनिकेशन इज मोस्ट कॉमनली यूज इन कम्युनिकेशन इन अ बिजनेस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन क्योंकि इसमें जो मैसेजेस होते हैं दैट कैन बी ट्रांसमिटेड वाया ईमेल, लेटर, रिपोर्ट, मेमो एक्सेट्रा. नाउ द नेक्स्ट टाइप इज नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन. So non-verbal communication is a communication process जिसमें मैसेज को सेंड और रिसीव किया जाता है बट ये जो मैसेज होता है ये वर्डलेस होता है. इसमें there is no use of words. Therefore you must have heard the famous quote that is action speaks louder than voice. So this is really apt for non-verbal communication. So basically non-verbal communication जो है that is all about the body language, body postures, body gestures of the speaker and it does not make the use of words. That is why it is called non-verbal communication. Now it includes facial expressions, postures and eye contact, hand movements that we make while communicating. So all these are useful in non-verbal communication and these all helps in the receiver in better interpretation of a मैसेज. सो नॉन वर्बल कम्युनिकेशन की तीन मेन एलिमेंट होते हैं दैट इज द अपीयरेंस. सो इट इंक्लूड्स बोथ द स्पीकर एंड द सराउंडिंग. देन द सेकेंड इज द बॉडी लैंग्वेज and the third is sounds. So when we talk about body language, so body language includes facial expressions, body gestures and postures. When we talk about sounds, so it includes voice tone, pitch, volume and the speed and the rate of the speech. Now further, after discussing about the verbal and non-verbal communication, so communication takes place at different levels and accordingly we speak of different types of communication. So जितने persons involved होते हैं उस basis पे भी communication को divide किया जाता है. So the first type on this basis is intrapersonal communication. So देखिए, when communication takes place with oneself, जब हम अपने आप से communicate करते हैं, that is called intrapersonal communication. So intrapersonal communication में सिर्फ एक person का involvement होता है, that is our own self. That is why it is called intrapersonal, right? Now when we talk about intrapersonal communication, so it includes individual reflections and like meditating, when we are meditating, when we are talking to ourselves, when we are praying to God. So these are all examples of intrapersonal communication, and it can take place at any time as there is no need of any receiver. Now moving towards the next communication type, that is interpersonal communication. So interpersonal communication में there has to be minimum of 2 members. There has to be a sender and there has to be receiver, and there has to be 2 persons at least. So interpersonal communication takes place between 2 persons, and this types of communication may includes like dialogues and conversation and exchange of views, ideas, information between 2 persons. It is very direct, intimate and consists of verbal interaction and gestures. And interpersonal communication एक बहुत ही effective communication situation होती है, because इसमें आपको feedback मिलता है, that is immediate feedback, and it has an emotional appeal too, and it can motivate, encourage and coordinate work more effectively. So primarily interaction between 2 friends, between a teacher or a student, between a mother and a child, all these are example of interpersonal communication. But now as technology has been introduced, so talking on telephone to someone is yet another example of interpersonal communication at a distance. Now the next example is group communication. So when we talk of group communication, so group communication takes place among group. So basically a group communication is a type of communication जिसमें जो members होते हैं एक group के, these people interact with each other. So basically a group is a collectivity of people who have common interest and goals. So like discussions in a workshop or a seminar or a family are an example of a group communication. जो group communication होता है, that is used to take collective decisions on a problem or an issue or a matter of common concern. और जो participation involved होता है group communication में, that takes active part in communication to achieve a set of goals, to develop or to find the solution to a problem that is faced by that particular group. So this diagram shows the representation of a ग्रुप कम्युनिकेशन. अच्छा, ग्रुप कम्युनिकेशन में ये होता है कि जो नंबर ऑफ रिसीवर्स हैं वो बढ़ जाते हैं, बट व्हेन द नंबर ऑफ रिसीवर्स इंक्रीज, जो पार्टिसिपेशन होता है, जो इंटीमेसी होती है, this somewhat decreases. So as the group becomes larger, the intimacy, the participation on the part of the receivers become lesser. Further group communication को भी 2 टाइप में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं, that could be intra group communication and the another is inter group communication. So when we talk about intra-group communication, so it is a form of group communication that takes place between the members of the same group. And then when we talk about inter-group communication, so इसमें दो या 2 से ज़्यादा different groups involved होते हैं. That communication takes place between 2 or more groups, and it can also be between members of different groups. So this is called inter-group communication. Now the next type of communication is mass communication. So when we talk about mass communication, so mass communication जो involve करता है ना, that is more than 2 number of people, and it is beyond a group, and it is beyond a organizational communication. So देखिए, as the term mass indicates, this type of communication includes ideas, thoughts, etc. that is communicated to a large number of people using mass media. So in mass communication, we include face-to-face as well as printed and non-printed communication. For example, the radio, television programs are broadcast to educate, to inform, or to entertain a large number of people. सो मास कम्युनिकेशन की 3 बेसिक कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स होती हैं, जो होती है फर्स्टली जो ऑडियंस होती है वो बहुत लार्ज होती है और हेट्रोजेनस होती है. सेकेंडली जो सोर्स होता है दैट इज एन इंस्टीट्यूशन और अ ग्रुप ऑफ पीपल. For example, the Ministry of Information and Broadcasting of Government of India, so that is engaged in broadcasting televisions and radio programs all over the country, right? And the third characteristic is some kind of mechanism is used to reproduce the information. So the mechanism could be, the printing press, the program's production studio, the television and the radio receivers, the internet, and nowadays social media. So all these are the examples of the type of mass communication. So these were all the types of effective communication that we discussed in this video. I hope that you liked the video, and this was all for today's video. So if you find this video helpful or useful, then please share to the person whom you find it would be helpful or relevant, and do subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for the more upcoming videos. Thank you.